Hey everyone, it's Croncy and I love Microtech. I think it's easily the coolest planet in Star Citizen right now. And if you are like me, you also love to mine. So today we're going to have a look at the moons around Microtech and figure out which one is the most profitable and which one you should never visit. So say hello to CALLIOPE, EUTERPE, and CLIO. But before we begin today, I stream very regularly over at twitch.tv/Croncy, so make sure you check out the channel and come fly in some of our fleets. For this series I use a prospector with a helix mining laser attachment, and I suggest you all do the same. If you can't quite afford either of those, I suggest doing a bunch of delivery or combat missions until you can afford to rent the prospector. And you need to know the prices of all those minerals. I use this chart provided by Space for Games, and you can find the link to it below. Let's get into it. First thing as always we need to look at is our base of operations, and unfortunately for Microtech, our best option is New Babbage. While it might be one of the coolest looking cities, the atmosphere can be absolutely atrocious, something that is going to be a recurring theme of this video. Luckily though, there is an advantage New Babbage has over other similarly sized cities. Normally, you would have to land at the spaceport, go to the trains, get into the commons, sell your stuff, and then make your way back, wasting a huge amount of valuable time. But right here, there is a ground vehicle dock that is right next to the commons, after a short elevator ride. So, we'll be landing and taking off from this spot for our run, so the only time we'll be wasting will be coming into and out of atmosphere. And now that we have our base of operations, it's time to make some money. First, we're going to head over to CALLIOPE. One of the first things you'll notice coming down to CALLIOPE is the wind and atmosphere. Unless you are a skilled pilot, you will end up getting pushed every which way. On CALLIOPE, you'll find igneous, granite, shale, quantanium, and obsidian. Your bread and butter on this moon will be taranite. Tried my best not to flip the ship over, did my first trip down to the planet and came across an absolute treasure of rocks. First run, I made 72k from taranite and quantanium. Second run, we flew around for quite a while before finding a decent deposit with agricium, and then found a semi-decent deposit of quantanium. As quantanium is on a timer, I filled up to about 60% ship cargo capacity, then headed back to Babbage, and raked in only 33,000 UEC. On the last run, I found a few pretty good agricium rocks, and filled up to 100% on those alone. We collected our refinery cache, and ended up with 160k UEC over 2 hours and 20 minutes, giving us about 80,000 UEC every hour. Next up, EUTERPE. While the rock quality on this moon was pretty decent, I just couldn't fly around or mine rocks without getting thrown around. On the first run, I was going pretty well, until a combination of wind and bad instability caused us to explode the rock we were working on, and our ship. On our second run, we found a bunch of agricium, and then a ton of quantanium. I went to about 91% capacity in this run, as we had harvested quantanium, and the return journey is long. We parked up and made 134,000 for the run. On the third run, I found another 2 good agricium rocks, however the wind and atmosphere on EUTERPE had been so bad that I ended the run after 30% full. Going back to Babbage, I made 27,000. These 3 runs were made over 2 hours and gave us an average of 80.5 thousand UEC an hour. And finally, we have CLIO. CLIO was fun. I found it the easiest to fly out of all of these moons, and so I was feeling pretty confident. You'll find gneiss, quantanium, obsidian, and granite deposits on this moon, so laranite and taranite will be your best bets here. First run, I made 71,000 UEC from agricium and taranite. Second run, I made nothing after failing to sell my quantanium ore. Third run, I made 78,000 with mostly laranite, some bexolite, and some agricium, for an average per hour of 87,000 UEC. So, looking back at what these moons provided me, I firstly would not likely mind around this area in the first place. But if you can deal with the atmospheric flying and severe winds you will encounter, definitely try EUTERPE out. It seems to be a classic case of risk-reward, although you will not see me leaving the comfy moons of Crusader anytime soon. So what did you think? Had better luck than me on these moons? Find a secret stash of quantanium? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel. Next week, I go a bit more cyberpunky as I look at the moons of CALLIOPE. Have a good one, guys.